plant, the logistic vehicles, and the land the source the cane from. We also power everything with all of our logistic vehicles with ethanol, and we produce our own electricity and other fuels. Our economic, environmental, and social balance is in our development structure. The economic development is we develop the economics of the local people whom we're using to harvest the sugar cane. The environmental, I'll go a bit more into the economics a little bit later. The environmental, we're a zero impact facility. We produce everything ourselves, including our own fertilizer, which is 100% environmentally friendly fertilizer, and our the social part of
the fertilizer you use.
We get our fertilizer from biodigesting of the vinasse. We use that in our fields. We have proprietary. We use a company based in Brazil to digest our vinasse to produce high protein animal feed, methane, and fertilizer.
You are producing alcohol and energy in Brazil?
The social part of our development, we develop the social structure of the area. We build schools, we build clinics, and we help develop the roads in the area. Financeability, we plant the sugar cane. We're using 100,000 hectares of sugar cane. That's what we're looking for. We plant that in congruity with the development of our plant, and so we can produce, so we can be financeable, so we don't have our structure heavier on one side than the other. So it's not, we have too much land and we don't have the processing capability. We don't have a plant that's too large and we can't source the feedstock. And we're trying to become the model for renewable energy here in Latin America. So our executive summary. We intend to construct and operate a sugarcane ethanol and electricity cogeneration plant. We're looking for 100,000 hectares of sugarcane fields and another 225 hectares to put our plant on. It's a 20 to 24 month construction phase. We're using
How many times you think that you can get the 100,000 hectares of cane? How many years in the time? What time? 4 years.
Plant. And we'll be planting the first 2 years while we're constructing as well. So we'll be able to harvest as soon as the plant's ready to go. We have offtake contracts with Royal Dutch Shell and BP, and we're looking for a 15 to 30 year power purchase agreement, if not with the Paraguayan government, possibly with Uruguay or Argentina. Project contracts, SGS, Willis. The construction management group, SGS, is based in in Houston, and Willis is in Washington, D.C. They're a global risk management company. The carbon credits, we are hoping to develop those along with the government of Uruguay with Paraguay under the Kyoto Protocol. We're looking for a 20 to 30 year zona franca with the Paraguayan government, somewhere along the Rio Paraguay. As I said, the carbon credits we're looking to do under the Kyoto Protocol's clean development mechanism, and an MOU with the government and a PPA with the local country. So I'm sure you know a lot about the sugarcane feedstock management. I'll go over it briefly. The way we harvest the sugarcane and the way we build our sugarcane fields, they are the best way. They're better than how they do it in Brazil because we use our own logistic vehicles. Because we have the best transports. We use ethanol-powered transport vehicles from Brazil. The production scalability, the way we are able to produce the sugar cane without fertilizers, organic fertilizers, we can maximize the amount of tonnage per hectare we can get out of the ground in the area. We have low fixed and variable costs from our cultivation and processing. Using a diffuser is the lowest cost and the most highly effective way of producing ethanol that they use only in a couple of plants in Brazil right now. And we do not affect the food supply or pricing because all of our sugarcane goes directly into our ethanol. We have the lowest greenhouse gas content from well-to-wheel versus fossil fuels versus any other feedstock that's used today. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the graphs. Highest cropland utilization characteristics, as I said before, with our fertilizers and our irrigation systems and our logistic vehicles. We do get the most out of the land, and we require no fossil fuels because we're an entirely closed loop system. So, sugarcane ethanol advantage. Liters per hectare yield of various feedstocks. We have the highest at 7,000 liters per hectare with about 140 tons per hectare. And we have the highest.
How many tons per hectare?
Well, we generally get about 140. Depending upon the land, between 120 and 140 using our fertilizer and our irrigation systems and the varieties.
But that is not the average of the 5 years.
No, that's
What
about
is your average on the 5 years?
120.
So the first year, maybe you can get them up 40,000. You have how many years you have the crop before you change the crop?
7 to 8.
How much?
7 to 8.
No, de otra cosa.
Cinco socas. Decimos 5 socas o 5 ciclos.
Está bien. ¿Cuál es el promedio de producción? Porque 140 está bien para plantación, pero no puede ser un promedio. También 10 veces más alto que el propio Brasil.
Well, we have
Brasil es
certain.
Brasil de promedio Brasil un poco menos, pero 80 promedio Brasil. En suelo extraordinario, estamos hablando de la zona del Gran Preto, Yabú, toda esa zona son suelos extraordinarios.
I'll show you how we produce compared to the Brazilians, and we get a little bit more out of the soil than the way they do it. We have the highest amount of reduction versus fossil fuels against any other ethanol feedstock, sugarcane, depending upon how you process it. Some of the way they do it in Brazil is not the most efficient sometimes. In about 60% of the plants there, so we get a higher amount of efficiency and reduction.